hoping my clients that have always come to my channel, I'm hoping that you can sign on, my clients, and tell me how the sound is. Because I thought I saw something that allowed me to fix it, but just let me know. Is the sound better than it was the first time? Anybody that wants to sign on? I hope it's better. I hope it's better. Can you let me know? Is the sound better than it was before? It looks like it's back on, so I hope so. I hope it's working. Anyways, I was able to get some more time in the meeting space, so I'm hoping that it's going to be okay, because I wanted to talk about the guidelines for psychic abilities and psychic gifts, which kind of is complementary to the first protocol. So first protocol, again, is the standard rules for galactic federations, and the galactic federations that are aligning within the original universal laws, how and when to intervene, how and when and why to intervene. And there are rules that the galactic federations and all of our celestial teams, our celestial guides, they all follow these kind of standard rules and guidelines, so that we're all kind of following a uniform set of integrity and morals as we're moving into these new grounds of co-creation and meeting, first contact, growing into our celestial gifts. If anybody's that's listening on the line, can you tell me if the sound is better than it was last time? Just put a little comment. Is the sound better, or is it still muffled? I think I fixed it, but we'll see. So anyways, hopefully the sound is better. Hopefully the sound is better. So we wanted to talk about the guidelines, because as people are turning into their higher vibrational selves. Okay, good. Thank you, Chloe. As we're moving into the vibrations of who we are as our fifth dimensional aspects of who we are, you're going to get, usually in the fourth dimension, because we're clearing a lot of the emotional energies and the emotional woundings, because it is the emotional realm. 4D is the emotional realm, and that's where we do all the clearing for the 3D. So that's why it's really important to, again, as we said in our first video, although the sound wasn't very good, but we'll go over it right now because we do have another 2 hours, is just make sure that you're keeping a journal of all of your ascension cycles and why your ascension cycles are so important. Your ascension cycles are so that your soul gets that growth. It gets the integration time, it gets the processing time, it gets the purging and elimination time for when you're releasing energies that need to be released, and you get to alchemize them, and you get to see your reality from a different perspective, so that you can move into a higher state of unified awareness, of harmonic awareness, so that you're always allowing yourself to look at your beliefs and your perspectives and then change it and alter a course and make new. So the cycles of ascension are paramount, and I've written about the cycles in all 3 of my books. And I suggest having a dream journal that you write in every morning as a part of your daily ascension pathwork. And then you have a separate journal that you write all of your communications and your communion with Spirit, Mother, Father, God, and creation. And you can even have a separate one for Gaia and your nature work, if you do work with animals and nature quite a bit. And you're on a house fire. That's not very good. So blessings for everybody. Just know that your cycles are so paramount to who you're becoming, right? Your cycles are important to all that you're able to move through. Your cycles are important to how you're working with Spirit, what you need to learn at that time. Because you're here to kind of soothe the ego into surrender state to the higher self and the spirit. You're meant to be living from a spirited space, which is your heart space, and that's a centered space, a mindfulness, so that you're keeping in track of your morals, your integrity, and who are you. And because there's a lot of wounding on our planet, because we're moving into higher light, that means that the people that have not been working on their 51%, they're not doing their ascension pathwork, they're not integrating those wounds, they will begin to act more and more out in the energies that they're claiming and surrendering to, which are usually the entity attachments, or the lifestyles and the energy behaviors of the karmic patterns, because they're not surrendering those wounds back to the soul to be healed and integrated. So that's why it is really important to keep track of your ascension pathwork, to understand your own ascension cycles, and to keep your own guidelines, and your guidelines are directly related to the protocols that are held by the highest heavens, our celestial teams and our celestial guides. Everybody on the planet has a higher self. Everybody on the planet has a set of guides. And those celestial guides are higher aspects of who we are. So those guides will always ensure, because it's benefiting the guides that are higher vibrational than you, to follow universal protocol, to follow galactic protocol, because our planet is moving into galactic universal first contact, universal harmony, universal oneness. So there is, as I've written in my children's crystalline blog spot, there is a post there that says crystalline working with higher vibrational beings and energies. And so if you follow that, I post it with a lot of my regular postings. I think it was back in January or something. And so if you go and read that post, I think it was downloaded by Commander Ashtar. And those are good guidelines to follow, so that when you're opening up to your new psychic gifts, when you're opening up to all of these things that will be turned on, your fields will be turned on. I've talked about it in many of my videos. Those fields that will be turned on will allow you access of the vibrational, multi-vibrational self, all that you are as a vibrational sensor and receptor. You're always sending, you're always receiving energy, you're always sending and receiving information and downloads. So it's pivotal for everybody because ascension is not going to stop. We are going to be continually moving higher and higher into our sensitivities. So it's good that you get practice right now as soon as possible, working with your guides on how to read energy, which one of your clairs are going to be the most dominant for you to work with, because myself, I have most of my clairs that are turned on, and I work with them all the time based on whatever it is I'm doing, whether I'm doing mediumship or whether I'm doing reading grids or reading Akashic energies. So I use my clairs in different ways. And if Mother or Father are giving me a download, they'll just give me an imprint sometimes, and sometimes it's a third eye. So it's always different on how I get my information, but it's up to each person to go and work with their guides daily. They have to do the work. Everybody has to do the work. So I suggest having a dream journal in the morning, and set out the time in the morning before you set your day. So that way your intentions and your directions and your focus of your energy, and using your chakras and making sure that you're keeping track of your body, how your body feels as your sensitivities turn on, so that you're harmonizing in a higher version of being. And so that it's really important. It's really, really important that you actually track how you're communicating with your guides and the things that you're falling in alignment with, the things that you got correct, if you will, because your teams are going to help guide you to the highest vibrational refinement, so that you're communicating with each other very efficiently. Telepathically, you want to work with your telepathic skills. So you're going to want to have them practice with you. You're going to want to have them send you symbols and send you things in your outer reality, so that you're constantly giving yourself these little tests, so that you can keep practicing your gifts and your skills. So it's really important that you follow a set of guidelines. So we're going to talk about the guidelines today. Those of you that are spiritual teachers, healers, even if you're tarot readers, so it's important that you have a set of guidelines that you work for that are in alignment of the higher heavens. If you're not working with anything of the higher heavens, and if you're not aligning to your higher self, you shouldn't be giving any spiritual guidance. And if you do give spiritual guidance and you are taking money for it, if you are taking money for spell work, you're going to be involved with your karma, and so that's just your negative return of your patterns, because it does go against the spiritual laws. It does go against spiritual order. So this is why, go back to our videos, go back to the information that we've been unfolding for the past 4 or 5 years, with all of the abuses and the abuse of spiritual laws and the abuse of the Akash, the abuse of timelines. It's very important that we honor the universal laws, why we're not interfered with our celestial teams and our alien friends and our alien families, and why our teams can come in, and when they can come in, they cannot just intervene. Mother, Father, God did intervene, because I had followed all of the protocol. I had followed all the spiritual higher order laws, and they were these people were still continuing to attack and do spell work on me, and keep ganging, and their cults and their gang stalking and all of the things that they were doing in systematic abuse. They continued to do it when they were told for 3 years to stop. God gave everybody 3 years of grace. to pull back and alter course, and they continued to not provide the birth information that I had asked for through the governments, and not come forward with apologies and payments for suffering, and not come forward with the payments of the monies that were stolen and taken from me through the cult abuse and coven abuse, as well as warped mason abuses. All of these secret society abuses are criminal offenses. They are criminal. They're criminal counts, so they will be different lawsuits and different cases that will go forward. Because nobody deserves to be treated like a piece of meat then you're hunted for, and then you're sold back and forth into underground games or the black web games, back and forth to cults and covens that sell your energy and sell your name and sell your harvesting light, because star seeds carry greater light. We carry greater alignment to the spiritual realm. We carry greater gifts and skills to the spiritual realm, because that's the coding that we've worked with, but also too, we've done the work. Those of us that have greater access and psychic abilities, we've done a lot of our clearing. The more density that you have, the harder it is to be in alignment with pure spirit. When you're working with dark occult, it is harder to be in alignment with pure light spirit. Everybody has guides that are of light. Everybody has a higher self that is of the light. And so all of those experiences allow you to stay in alignment with the highest and the best. So if you're not practicing highest and best, it would be very privy of you to connect with your guides and to start working with highest and best immediately. Because otherwise you're going to continue in the entropy practices. Because we're going forward in a higher vibrational 5D experience, and that 5D is unity consciousness. Everything you do affects everyone else. And this is why we talk about the omnipresent fields. This is why we talk about honoring your spiritual guidance and honoring your sacred divine soul's blueprint, and all you need to focus is your soul's blueprint. There should be no need for manipulation, for forcing, for enforcing, for getting in gangs and groups. And again, as we said earlier, if you're spending most of your time and most of your day obstructing and obsessing and interfering with people's lives and screwing people over, then your karma will be equal. And why would you do that? Why would that be something that anybody would want to do? And then get paid for? You absolutely know there's karma coming, because it goes against all of our spiritual laws. It goes against our human rights. It goes against basic common sense, do unto others. And then I don't understand why people would call themselves righteous and all churchly, and they would call themselves Masons of the 44th and 33rd degree, and they're so special and they're so ranked, but they're absolutely not. God would never bless or give anything to anyone of any ranking, and they would never initiate them higher in the realms of service, and they would initiate them higher in the realms of the Christed Masters or the Archangel Michael legions, the legions of light through the Galactic Federations. None of these people would ever be ranked in any of these special services for creational, galactic, universal service. I'm a part of the Universal Galactic Service. I'm a part of the Legions of Light. I'm a part of the Holy Family of the Mother and the Father. And I have to go through, probably, as I said last time, I have to go through, just for our planet, I have to go through 10 to 30% more initiations and more spiritual work and more energetic work, because I have to evolve at a faster and higher rate. And I also have to be tested on a number of different areas and arenas through energy, to make sure that I would never abuse my energy. I would never abuse my gifts and my skills and my power that I have with energy. That's why I did have to go through the MK Ultra and this Project Stargate abuses, because it was very important for me to maintain the higher sense of self and my higher connection with my higher mind and my sense of self. It was very, very important that I got tested. It was overkill. The abuses were overkill, and the cults and covens refused to stop bullying and sending magic and doing their sacrificing and their rituals, and doing the false accusations and the false claims and the sabotaging of my work and the sabotaging of my platforms, the glamour spells and the smear campaigns to have people look at me differently, to stop service and to stop all of those things that were done is countless. And they are criminal offenses. It is illegal. You can't just go in and have, child services and all of these things and accusations of crimes. And you cannot intentionally bring death and damage and destruction to someone and have them go homeless for 5 years and think that you're going to walk away with thinking it's just a joke. So this is where we have to get to the global creative collective level. When cults and covens find themselves to create together, they're in a very low vibrational groupthink. And that is a very dangerous experience to be, because you're giving your power away to a groupthink that is low vibrational. Most of them are wounded. Most of them do not understand daily ascension pathwork. They're not integrating their soul fragments. They're not integrating their wounds. They're not doing anything to heal themselves. They're working in an idea of power over others, and they use dark occult practices. So if there are these organizations that have been, some of them, not all of them, but some of them have been directed by church and state and elite to go out and attack those star seeds, to follow star seeds, to stalk star seeds, to study us, to experiment on us, and to do that what they've been told, because there's either inheritances, there's agendas that they don't want coming out, there's agendas that they don't want the informations and the histories known to the public. They don't want, prophecy, the prophecy, leaders to come forward like myself and create new systems of higher vibrational wisdoms and knowledge and intelligence and leadership. And so there's many reasons why the cults and the covens are being used and as directed minions and directed dark minions to follow through with agendas that are criminal. They're criminal offenses, they're criminal agendas. And everybody within a cult or coven, you have to ask yourself, is this the path that I'm going to continue on? Because it is either entropy or you're going to go into eternal light. And if you're going to go into eternal light, there always has been guidelines and protocol, and that is by the universal laws. Because if you're not following the universal laws, you should not be taking money and calling yourself a spiritual guide or practitioner or a spiritual teacher or whatever it is that you call yourself. If you are always in competition and you're always threatened by others, you should not be taking money from anybody and calling yourself a spiritual guide, because you're not getting the basics of who you are as a being, and you don't have a profound sense of self that you could be teaching others as a profound sense of self. This is why we have cycles. Cycles help you move in initiation of your sense of self. They help you move in initiation of various things that you have to move through in the soul's progression. Are you tapping into your insecurities? When your insecurities come up on every ascension cycle, when those little dots come up, they're going to call in any insecurity, any belief, any perspective that you're going to call up and you're going to face, and you're going to do the work. Because if you're not doing the work, then you're going to continue in the karmic patterns, the karmic behaviors, and you're going to behave in the same way. You're going to repeat the same thing. You're going to manifest the same outcome because your vibration has not changed. And whether you think you're going to go get it from somebody else by doing dark occult manipulation, spell work, forcing, or sacrificing, you're going to gain negative karma. You're not following higher spiritual order. That's why guidelines are needed. Guidelines are needed for 5D Earth so that everyone, as our gifts and skills turn on, you're helping coach and you're helping teach those to come in the highest vibrational practices, even for children, so that they're not abusing their gifts. They're not going to go remote view just because they can. They're not going to go and do, monitoring of people's lives and monitoring of people's bank accounts and all of the things that have been done that have been absolutely illegal. They know it's illegal because that's why they hide in the dark. They all know what they have done. It's all illegal. They're all crimes. 50 to 125, we're just giving my one experience. This goes on every day, and there's millions of people being affected. So again, this is why we've said, in my case and coming forward, it's good that we set guidelines. Speak up and start logging your experiences of criminal abuse, of systematic abuse. Understand what systematic abuse is. Understand the covert and the dark occult abuse. And it's used very expertly by those that are, master manipulators, like my ex and the people that he belonged with. They were master manipulators. The head witch and the head warlock and the head mason, they all had their woundings. They had their jealousy and their envy and their warped sense of self. They had no sense of self, and they relied on magic. They relied on voodoo. They relied on lies and manipulation. And anybody that they could go into their Akashic records or their spiritual records, and they can cross the spiritual boundaries, the spiritual laws, and pull out what that person was going to be getting, they would then start the swarming, deconstruction, systematic attacks to start pulling in my experience, if you will, of my destiny, of my work, of my ideas, and all the things that I have devoted my life to, and many other timelines. And they would start to eat up your soul's destiny. They would start to eat up your soul's light. They would elite soul harvest. They would harvest your soul as theirs. And this is the term that God had given me. So this is why I go back to my channels, go back to my videos, and if you want to understand what's going on in the collective, just go back and watch a couple of videos and then reflect upon your own life. What are the beliefs that you need to work on? What are your perspectives you need to work on? And how can you become a higher, grounded, centered person so that you're mindful and you're heartfelt? Working from your heart and your mind, then you're going to move forward in a higher balanced state. You're not going to be thwarted by other people's beliefs or notions or lies. I've been estranged for 8 years. I am not friends or buddies with my ex. I do not speak with him on a regular basis at all unless it's to get money that I am owed, that he has stolen from me with the people that he has worked with in the various ways that they have taken from me, whether it be through pilfering my pages, copying my content, making up fake businesses to pretend that they're me and they're not, whatever fans only and only fans, whatever underground black web, selling my name back and forth, bidding my name, betting my name, selling my name in sacrifices, everything that has been done on my name, there has been theft on every level. And they are spiritual criminals. They are spiritual killers, because anybody that does sacrificing are spiritual killers. It, at a global level, has to be investigated. Which of these groups, covens, and warped masons think that they are ranked and pretend that they are ranked and think that they run the city and think that they run the collective, but they don't. They don't have any right to elite soul harvest. They don't have a right to harvest off starseeds. They don't have a right to stalk and hack us. And they don't have any right to treat us like we're pieces of meat for their agendas and their games, the hunting games. And as God's decree said yesterday, the starseeds will no longer be touched and used as battery agents and as feeding little mechanisms for the warped and the degraded that refuse to get healed. We have to investigate at a global level which cults and covens and which warped mason groups are being directed from higher elites. Be it the entertainment business, because it's a business and it's an industry. Be it the black web industry. Be it the elites at church and state and the higher officials of government and policy of church and dogmatic politicians. Who are the people that are directing these covens and cults? Or are there anybody directing them at all? The cult and coven that was in Calgary, I was told by Source Creator that yes, the governments were involved in directing that cult and coven. And this is why they had access to my birth record and information that has still not yet been returned to me in any way on any level. And that therefore is a universal law that they have broken. It is my birthright to know who I am. It is my birthright to have accurate information of my birth records. It is my birthright to know that I did not give any permissions or signatures to anybody to test or experiment on me in any way. There is no information or permissions given to anybody to stalk, hack, and spy me on my personal records, my medical records, my personal information, power of attorneys, or anything otherwise. I would never give such information or permissions or signatures. I would never, ever do that. I'm a humanitarian. I'm a human rights advocate. I would never give such permissions. And how is it, again, as I said yesterday in my video, how is it that I could go through the process of 6 years in legal battle, moving forward to complete a divorce and have my divorce completed last year? May of last year was the stamp from King's Court from Calgary, Alberta. How is it that I could go through the process of getting a divorce and having the paper stamped by King's Court, and yet all of these false accusations and these false claims were made by wounded, warped, black magic, voodooists, cult and coven people that say they are righteous and of the community? But they go forward and they create false accusations and lies and defame me and ruin my work, ruin my family, destroy everything that has ever been in my name with false crimes and false accusations, and I have to go and rebuild my life, and I have to go and start off from scratch again, as I've been homeless for 5 years, fighting for my universal rights, fighting for my human rights. So how is any of that possible? So again, it has to be investigated. How did so many checks and balances of what was done on my unique case right from birth, how did so many checks and balances along the way, Revenue Canada, banks and insurances, and all of the people that the cults and covens had used to take money and steal money from me in the many ways that it was stolen? Insurances and insurance scams and false marriages and black web underground, RICO, whatever was done and however the stealing occurred. How did the banks and how did the insurances and how did city business, how did city policing, how did everything that was city and just and right and true, the people that take oaths, the people that get paid the top paychecks for looking after a city and looking after the people, how did so many checks and balances get missed? Over and over and over again for years and years at a time, even after I made the complaints and the records. And I've been making these videos for how long, explaining my process of systematic abuse and what happens with the dangers of black magic, the dangers of voodoo, and these people are experiencing the karma as I've predicted up to 4 years ago. And within my divorce court, it was 6, 7 years ago, I've been sending the emails about covert abuse. I've been warning them and praying for them to stop the black magic because they're going through the adverse effects, they're going through the dark karma, and they're going through their return and their backfire right now. And as I said in my last videos, the only people, the only energies, the only entities that deliver karma is God, source creator itself, and the soul. The soul decides based on what have you learned in your cycles. Are you understanding your soul's cycle and your soul's progressions? If you're not learning your soul's progressions and your soul's lessons, and you're not heeding spirit through the various masters that are set before you that are saying this is what's happening right now, if I were you, I'd not do that. Go back to my videos. We've stated it every week. It's been in every one of our daily YouTube platform postings, and YouTube has silenced me and have my account at 0 growth for the last 8 years. There's 3 separate groups of church and state that have been paying YouTube to silence me. These are all criminal acts, and these are all criminal offenses that have to be investigated. Who are the beings that are directing the smaller companies, the smaller cults and covens to pilfer my videos, to pilfer my views, to come on and put on these people that sign on all at the same time and throw their hate comments? Who are the people that are inciting this? Who are those groups and who are they? So the IP addresses are being investigated. People from Calgary are being investigated, and they're being followed by all the investigators that need to investigate them. The financial audits are being investigated. Where and how do they get their money, and who's it coming from? How much money has been wasted of my money that they have wasted in spending and partying and doing whatever they're doing with my money, paying people all over the world to do hexes and curses and voodoo on me. Everybody that was involved, the 50 to 125 people that Spirit has told me has been involved, everyone is equally guilty as far as I'm concerned. So everybody from Calgary, which I said in my video earlier, but the sound wasn't really working that hard. Everybody that was from Calgary or from that cult experience, no matter where you are in the world, no matter how you're trying to get away and you're trying to destroy the evidence and destroy the tampering of it, whatever it is that you were a part of, whether it's the photoshopping, the signature faking and falsing, whether it's putting up fake things online to making me sound like I'm this person, I'm that person, I'm not, whether you were a part of giving into the lie that somebody said that I was this way, but you had no idea who I was, but you went along with it anyways because you got paid. Whatever your part in the defamation and the destroying of my life was, there will never be a coming back. There will never be a repair to what has been done and the damages that were done to my soul. That I had to work 100 times harder than anybody to just repair myself and to come back and transmute the group and the gang and the malicious systematic abuse and the hate that was impaled on me on a daily basis because of these obsessed cult and coven people and warped masons that don't understand spiritual order, and they've been told a lot of misguided information. I've taught the higher order. I've brought it forward as point blank and as easy and as simply as possible. You will never be ranked by sacrificing. You will never be ranked by doing what has been done to me. You will be pulled out and your karma will be faced. No matter how God and your teams have said there has been 0 cycle progression, you have not taken the heating from spirit. You have not cared about your fellow human. Therefore, you will never move forward. You will never move forward in unity consciousness if you don't care about your fellow human. If all you do is hate and all you do is interfere, then you will never move forward in unity consciousness. Unity consciousness, when you're manifesting from thought, you simply will not move forward. You have to repeat your cycles in darkness. And because there are no more 3D timelines, there is no more 3D timelines that you're going to incarnate into. There's no more 3D. It's going into 5D. So you have to get these soul progression lessons. That's why there is universal laws. That's why we have spiritual laws. And everybody that is in cults and covens and warped masons and the white elite collar crime and the corrupt governments, they all know what they do is wrong. They all know what they do is illegal. That's why they do it in the dark. That's why they pay everything under the table. That's why they have shadow affiliate businesses that they move money and they move people back and forth. They all know what they do, and they all know that it's illegal. It's illegal as fuck. The fabrication of ID, the fabrication of accusations, the fabrication of paperwork, the fabrication of POAs, the fabrication of death certificates, the fabrication of every story that was told on me, and none of these people in Calgary know me. None of them have ever met me. None of them have ever spoken with me. None of them have ever even known me from anything. They don't know anything about me. They believed in whatever was told to them by whomever was told it to, whether it be my ex or whether it be government or whether it be whatever. Nobody had a right to instigate and incite danger, suicide, and sacrificing and death on my life. so that it be destroyed on every level until I sit homeless, until I sit in poverty, until I sit in worry and stress and suffering and being taken away from my kids when they were the only light access that I had with them and they had with me. And they need it for their evolution. And none of these 50 to 125 people care because they're disconnected. They don't know anything about anything spiritual. They are not understanding higher spiritual order. They do not understand their souls. They're not connected to their souls. They're not connected to spirit at all. They're not connected to their higher selves, because if they were, they would have never done any of the crimes they've done. They are the epitome of what dangers and what happens when you do not heed spirit. They are the epitome of what happens when you choose to surrender all that you are into entity attachment, succubus, incubus. They are the epitome of what happens when you do not heal your wounds. They are the epitome of what happens in crime and corruption and corrupt officials. They're the epitome of what happens when crime goes wrong and cities and families are being destroyed by people that refuse to be accountable, by people and governments and businesses, places of business, supposed community churches and places where people go to heal and hear the highest levels of wisdom, but it's just being copied and it's just being reverberated through fake AI pages while other people are making money and I'm sitting homeless. There's many crimes, over 17, Spirit had said, over 17 federal crimes that were committed just on the abuses for me, of me. I haven't been given a penny from anyone. I haven't been given any apologies. I've never given signatures to do business with, partnership with anyone. I would never do business with anybody that has behaves and has done what they have done in all the videos that I have put forward in the past 6 years. I wouldn't do business with these people. I would never ask them to come and be a business partner with me because they're corrupt. That's why I left. I left Calgary because I was being gang stalked. I left Calgary because Spirit said, if you do not leave, they will kill you. That is what Spirit said to me, and I left. I brought all of the attention on me, and they followed me, and they obsessed about me, and they continued to do their MK Ultra, Project Stargate, stalk my platforms, do the hate things. I mean, I've blatantly taken the screenshots and I've shown everybody on the live stream here, and they see 10 or 12 people sign on at the same time. So who's directing these people to sign on? Who's directing the people to put their comments in the hate field because your IP addresses are all being watched? Everybody's being investigated. I don't deserve hate crime. I don't deserve to have every aspect of my life, every step of my life, to be bullied and attacked and discriminated because people are refusing to heal their wounds. My job is to come forward and speak a higher vibrational spiritual order and spiritual truth. Humanity will move forward with ascension. It is purely light, and that light will activate the things that are not light. I activate because I live in truth. I speak in truth. That is which is not in truth will be triggered. And some of these people will go right to their wounds and they will just go beyond the triggering and they will start attacking because they have entity attachment, because they have not followed spiritual protocol or cleansing. They don't know anything about their chakra system. They don't know anything about entity attachment, and they keep doing what they're doing because they conjure dark energies. They conjure dark entities. They do their conjuring and deities. They do their black magic. They do their voodoo. And if you do dark, what do you expect? Dark. So that's what I've taught. So now that you're all aware that there is karma, the universe is a reflection of your vibration, the omnipresent is the intelligent field, and it's showing you what level of vibration you're at. And everybody will face their karma. Nobody will escape it. Doesn't matter if you destroy the evidence. Doesn't matter if you scapegoat and blame someone else. You will face your karma. You must face your karma. You must go through the ascension cycles. Your soul will be sat down. You're not always going to be at the top of the wheel. You have to learn how to be humble. You have to learn how to work with your gifts and how to work with your teams. You have to learn how to work with your psychic gifts and your psychic abilities, and know that your fields are multidimensional. Know that your gifts are multidimensional. Start working with your team. Start working with your gifts, and do it in a benevolent, integrous way. That way, you're going to stay out of what's happening to all the cults and covens now. They're being put on suspension. You should never be taking money and calling yourself a spiritual guide if you do not follow universal laws. You're not in alignment. You shouldn't be calling yourself a spiritual guide if you have no idea what the laws are and you're not following them. You should not be doing that either if you're not aligning with your higher self. Your higher self will always guide you in the highest and the best every single moment that you align. And if you're not aligning with your higher self and you're not getting downloads every minute that you ask for it from your higher self with respect and honor and integrity, then you shouldn't be absolutely putting yourself out there to get money and take payments for. If you're not aligning with your higher self, you cannot claim yourself to be a spiritual guide for anybody. Your higher self is your godliness. It is your godliness to all laws, to all order, to everybody before you. Anybody that stands before you and your gifts are turning on, if you're psychic, if you're an empath, if you're a clairaudient, if you're clairsentient, doesn't matter what your clairs are. And if you have a couple that stands before you and you start getting information, you start seeing visions, and you start getting the information of the people standing before you, you are tested and you are initiated by your higher self to make sure that you're tested on the things that you've done in other lifetimes that you're not going to do this lifetime because you're learning your lessons to be a higher order spiritual being. You're moving into higher order spiritual 5D light. You're moving into unity, consciousness, and oneness. Can you handle your gifts and skills with benevolency? Can you handle your gifts and skills with the right use of free will and non-interference? That's a universal law, number 1. Right use of free will, non-interference. That means that if you're standing there and you do get psychic downloads, you do get visions, you do get sounds, you do get memories, you do get these things that are coming before you because your field is now opening up to the people's field in front of you and you're getting psychic information. What do you do with it? Are you practiced? Are you initiated with your guides? Those people that call themselves masters and those people that call themselves experts, and if you can't answer any of my questions, because if you work with me, I will ask you that, because we're going to start to get you used to working with your guides on an every moment for moment basis so that you're never ever separated from your guides. And you will always heed spirit because spirit guides you in the highest and the best and would never ever put you in harm's way nor others. Your guides would never ever do that. So these people that are working from cults and covens and Masonic groups and they're hurting people or mafia groups or governments and their secret agendas and their MK Ultra Project Stargate, none of these people are anywhere near to being anything about spiritual in any way. Because they hurt people. They go against basic human rights. They go into secret and hiding. They throw rocks and they hide their hands. They throw rocks and they do false accusations to deflect and project, to get out of their crimes, to get out of their karma. They cloak and they do all the horrible things that they do, manipulating energy, doing voodoo, paying people here and there, never ever to pay their karma and walk as the people they say and they do and they choose to be. They're choosing to be criminals, so called a criminal. What are you fighting about it? You chose to be a criminal. I'm just calling it. So as your gifts and skills open up, can you walk about life in benevolence? Just because you can read somebody's Akash doesn't mean you should or you can. If these people are standing before you and you have psychic downloads, what do you do with it? Are you acting in benevolence? Do you have a communication system with your higher self and your guides? Is there an information? Is there a message I can provide these people? As I stated in my last video, my contract with my teams, the contract that I have with them is if they tell me something that they have already approved with the higher selves of those involved, that it's okay for me to give the message. But as I explained in that example that I gave you, when I met up with that young fellow and he was giving me, we were just doing a little healing session and I was giving him a healing and he was telling me about his life and we had given him some information. His partner had come through and I said, are you willing to receive a message from the person that you're talking about? And he had given me his approval. But when you're just meeting somebody first off like that and you don't know them and they're not your regular clients, it's always good to have a set of guidelines so that you're absolutely establishing your integrity, morals, that you're not crossing people's boundaries and guidelines, that you're always staying within a moral standard of who you are, and you're not going to peer into their private life, you're not going to peer into their sex life, you're not going to peer into who they are as a person or their financials or their medical records. It's not your business. It's not your business. Just because you can see the downloads, just because you're getting downloads, just because you're hearing things, and just because you're seeing things, you need to work with your guides immediately because you do have gifts and you're meant to use them for the highest and the great good. Those that choose to use them for the negative and the dark, they're going to be receiving their dark karma, and they're not going to come out of it until they learn those lessons. They will continue to be sabotaged just as they've done everybody else. They will continue to be blocked just as they've done everybody else. They will continually to have no access to their abundance because they took that from others. Everything they do affects the whole. Therefore, then it's got to come back to you. You have to be sat down and you have to learn your lessons. You will never, ever be ranked. You will never move forward. Your teams simply will not move you forward. Your teams will strip you of all your gifts because you don't play God. And if you have gifts and skills and talents, we're moving into 5D, everybody will have their unique gifts, skills, and talents. But we must move through a series of cycles that we are tested. And it begins now. Take a look at what you do spiritually. Take a look at what you do as you call yourself a spiritualist. Take a look at what you do as when you call yourself whatever it is you call yourself, and how you're creating vocational alignment, how you're creating a vocational career for yourself. Are you following a set of integrous and moralistic rules and set guidelines? And who is it by? If it's by a lower deity of cults and covens, that's not higher order. So why would you surrender? Why would you give your morals and integrity to a lower vibrational group of darkness? So you're going to be aligned in darkness. You just have to understand the quantum equal. So it's good to set moral standards and moral code, so that anytime anybody stands before you, and if you put out 750 videos like I have, and if you've written books like I have, and if you've spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hours doing absolutely highly vibrational, higher dimensional information and wisdoms and downloads from spirit, messages from spirit as a prophet, as a messenger, as I have, then your integrity is, my word is. And nobody's going to sway you because I know my sense of self. Nobody will sway me from my sense of self. And the MK Ultra programs and the government programs and the cult and covens have noted that. You're not going to break me. You're not going to rip my spiritual self out of me. You're not going to take it. You're not going to swap it. You're not going to steal it. You're not going to harvest it anymore. But they tried everything under the sun and then some, to gang and bully and to rip my sense of self apart and to make sure that I could be ripped away from source, to make sure that my protection field can be broken, whatever these games and schemes and plots and plans to destroy me so that they could have me and take me over and do whatever it is they think they're doing. And again, they're misguided. They have no idea what they're doing, and they have no idea what they've been told is wrong. So they get themselves in a whole bunch of legal issues because they're believing in something because they want their power over others. They want to dominate you and break you. And they want to have the spotlight. They want to have the money. They want to have the this and that. It's all ego wounding, wounding. Go get healed. You will never be a spiritual leader in those ego energies. You're nowhere near being a spiritual guide to anybody because you're not even looked after. You're wounded. Again, we talked about love readings. Why would you always get a love reading? You're not working on yourself. You're just going to keep manifesting karmic. You're not going to meet a true soulmate. You're going to meet karmic. Because you're still in karmic energy. You're not changing your karmic energy. You don't know who you are. You have no self-love, and all you care about is another partner that you're going to try and manifest. Or you're going to bed hop and house hop to the next person that looks a bit more stable. So then you're going to go in and you're going to harvest off them while you've got 3 or 4 hidden families and 3 or 4 hidden children that you've never told anybody about. And now you're sick and diseased because all you've done is live a debaucherous underground life. And now you want that person that you were targeting for the last 8 years to come back and say, hey, let's start over again. So Calgary, we ain't starting over again. Nobody from Calgary come towards me. Ever. Don't ever come towards me. We're not friends, we're not buddies, and we're not family. There's no repair on what has been done to me as a spirit and a soul. There's no repair. Everybody was told legally, because they are criminal offenses, what part that you took in it. I would suggest going to the authorities and stating with clarity about what part you partook in it, because there will be criminal charges and there will be arrests made. I didn't deserve to have my life ripped apart. I will never have the time back with my kids. My kids have been obviously affected by the black magic and the conjuring and the manipulations. They have been affected 100%. They have been affected on how they see me and how they interpret me, because that was a part of the smear campaigns and the glamour spells and everything that everybody's done to me, so that I never get up and I never be seen, and I've never ever get given to or receiving from, even though I've done the work over 985 timelines. Nobody knows me. Nobody knows what I do but God. So nobody has the right to even say or speak my name. I am the Ark of the Covenant. And I speak truth. So if you choose to be so arrogant and wounded that you choose to act out, just because I'm speaking truth, you can choose to leave my channel because it is free will. And if you're that bothered, find another channel that likes to speak in lies and deceit and likes to feed to your darkness. I won't feed to your darkness. I will activate it to become light. But that's your choice. These are the truths, and this is spiritual order. You will not come for me and you will not touch me or hurt me because you've damaged my life enough. I have to do 10 to 30% more healing and more transmuting than any other person on this planet. Plus, I always have a voice for the collective children. I'm a voice for the collective divine feminine. I'm a voice for Gaia. I do more clearing work. I do more energy work than anybody on this planet. And the systems of light know that. The mother will call me from wherever I am to be called from, and I will go to the darkest places, and I will be who I am because I know who I am. And it will never be stripped from me. It will never be taken from me. It will never be swapped from me. You have all made enough money from me. You have all made enough money using me and abusing me. And you've made up your false stories, and you've made up your false claims, and you've made up your false accusations. It's 100% wrong. I haven't signed anything except my divorce. And if I was crazy, how could I go through a 6-year divorce court and call the lawyers out on their mistakes that they've missed on both sides? There was perjury done on every facet of that divorce order. But it got stamped through King's Court. It's a divorce, it's claimed. It's divorce. I've been fully divorced for 1 full year. Nobody from the past will ever come forward. It's irreparable. You cannot do sacrifices, up to 50 sacrifices on me, and think you're going to come back and be my friend. For me to help you out with all your criminal and your legal issues and your karmic issues, there is no repair on what has been done to my soul. The PTSD, the suffering, the daily isolation, the daily systematic abuse, I have to fight for my voice, I have to fight for my rights. So be it, because I'm helping clear the collective, and I'm going to help others that have also been abused. To fight for their rights, to stand up for who they are, to start logging the systematic abuse for cults and covens and secret societies, and absolutely come forward with who is directing the secret societies. Whose are these organized peoples with the monies and the deep pockets? There must be new laws, there must be new healing systems, and it must be done at the highest levels of our global investigations. And we must, at every city, at every community, begin new ways of communicating and building bridges, because black magic and voodoo and warped-ass masonry is not the answer. It never will be. You will never be ranked. There is always higher spiritual order. There's always a higher spiritual umbrella. Do you have guidelines and set protocol for how you work with your gifts and skills? And if you don't, you need to get them right away. If you want to be a declaration of who you are as a multi-vibrational being that works with your gifts, your skills, and your talents, and you want to be a master, you want to work your path of being master, you never ever end up at being a master. It's a constantly being a student. You are constantly a student of Source Creator. You're constantly a student of navigating energies in the highest level of integrity. That should be an intention. If working at the highest capacity of integrity is not your intention, you need to go back and you need to do some more work. Who are you? There should always be integrity and morals in your spiritual work, and you should work out with your teams. When you are doing something that you shouldn't do, there should be a sign or a symbol, or there should be a physical attribute or a physical symptom that your body will show you. And if you're not listening to your body, if taking somebody out and doing sacrifices and sucking their soul energy, which is a very, very highly spiritual crime, it affects that person's soul on every level when they are being harvested just once. When somebody has their energy being harvested from them, it is like you're killing them. And that's just harvesting somebody once. There are fake businesses that are in Calgary that call themselves a church, and they fool the communities that go to that church. And they use the patrons of that church in various ways to look into finances, to look into who they are, and to look into their benefits, and to look into who they are as spiritual, so that they can then perform systematic abuse as they did on me. And these people that call themselves righteous are actually head witches of their cults and their covens, and yet they call me evil. And I'm speaking 100% truth. So how is that? Aren't you the demon in this story, as I said in my other video? You're the one that's falsifying yourself as a church and all righteous, because you hide behind your Bible, and yet nothing that you have done is humane at all. You're teaching people how to fool people. You're teaching people how to lie to people. You're teaching people how to take energy from children. How is that righteous? You're teaching people how to lie for criminals so that criminals keep walking free. How's that righteous? I'm going to call you out, head witches. What makes you a spiritualist, head witch? When you're interfering with people's lives every second that you breathe because you're so wounded, you don't know who you are, and all you want to do is hate the people that look like they know who they are. They're a reflection to you. How about you go and heal? How about you bring some light into your life? How about you actually truly get connected with spirit? Because you don't know who spirit is if all you do is hate, obsess, take, and rape, and harvest other people's energy and life, and lie about it, and then defame about it, and then go and destroy their lives because they've actually called you out on what is truth of you. but you're not facing it. You're denying it. And Anubis says the scales are highly imbalanced. There's a lot of innocent people that have been taken from illegally, covertly, systematically. And it's been right up from the governments and all the way down. And some of these government programs and agendas do call on cults and covens and warped masons to do their dirty work. And this is where we have said a long time ago, but yesterday was the caveat, and that was the decree given by Source Creator. There's no more time. There's no more mercy and grace given to those that come forward at the last second, even though they've known for 4 years the same message. Go to the authorities about what has been going on. Criminal abuse is criminal abuse, and you will be called on it. Those people of authority, those people of official roles and titles, if you are doing such inciting of violence, if you are doing such inciting of illegal use and illegal abuse and criminal abuse to the innocent, and trying to take out starseeds and attack starseeds and harvest starseeds and lure starseeds into the dark occult practices, into the black web, you will be held equally in your dark karma, and you will be sat down, and you will go nowhere until your cycle is learned and you have made right. Your karma will be of the most egregious, because that is your intention. You were put in positions and you had taken oaths and promises to serve the people of the highest and the greatest good, suppressing a world, collective, global, galactic, multiversal, higher vibrational leader, teacher of light wisdoms, of how to protect your chakras, of how to protect your fields, how to speak out on behalf of your human rights, how to speak out on behalf of your universal rights, to know what your universal rights are, to know how to work with your light and your soul, to know how to work with God on a spiritual level. All of these things will allow you to survive or not survive. I'm only here because I've worked with my alliance with light of what I teach. That's the only reason why I'm here. I should not have survived. I teach how to survive and get through criminal acts that are going on in every moment of every city. And yet YouTube, a $450 billion company, is getting paid by 3 separate church and state elite groups. And they are paying YouTube to silence me so that I never monetize and I never grow. My channel has not grown for 8 years. Every time I upload a video, my videos are being pilfered and sent somewhere. Where are the views going, YouTube? I ask you every time I upload, who is the investigator behind these federal crimes? These are federal human rights crimes. Defamation of who I am as a being altogether. My human rights for my privacy and my medical information has been completely, absolutely violated. The abuse of power, the abuse of technology, the abuse of my privacy and information have been absolutely abused on every level, and nobody cares until it happens to you. And why all the people from the Calgary cult, they're all seeing the karma come back, because it's decades of black magic, it's decades of voodoo, it's decades of jar work, it's decades of you suppressing the people that can be making money and sending it back to the collective. That was one of my roles. Why I am known as the abundant golden calf. Why I am the divine feminine ark of the covenant. Because I am abundance for all creation. And if you suppress the abundance, what do? Again, we ask you one more time, humanity. Extinction. You suppress the divine goddess. You silence the divine goddess. You throw 50 to 125 people at her to take her down and suppress her because you do not want to face your deeds. Well, how about you just stop being a criminal and you heal? Because everybody will suffer because of your actions, because of you refusing to come out of your wounding. I have my right to be exactly who I am, and I will not fall, and I will not surrender, and I will not bow, and I will never, ever break to your misogyny, to your bigotry, to your polygamy, to whatever it is that is your debauchery held in your wounding, because you're not doing your healing. And that's your choice, that's your free will. But you will not take anybody with you, and you will not sacrifice the star seeds. That is the decree by the Father. The star seeds will not be tested. The star seeds will not be experimented on like I was. The star seeds will not be illegally stalked. The star seeds will not be hunted down like they are pieces of meat for egregious, low vibrational, entity attached adults that refuse to get healed. Warped masons, warped witches, and warped warlocks that refuse to alter course. Everybody has been told for years, everybody was given years to alter course and do right and make right. There are spiritual orders of every level and every deed that you move forward on. Every thought, every word, every deed, you are watched. Nothing is hidden. The father and the mother know exactly what you do in every moment because the father and the mother are inside of you. You refuse to see it. You refuse to connect. You refuse to have that connection and alignment and communion. That's your choice. Just because you would choose to believe a certain thing doesn't mean it's not true or it's true. There is source creator. There are higher spiritual laws. Do whatever it is that you think you're doing to be ranked. Do your little satanic rituals and do your little rituals in the graveyards. Do your little rituals in Gaia and have your little orgy parties. I'm telling you right now, your karma's coming back, and that's why you sit where you sit, because it's time for you to sit down and take your L. You will never be at the top of the wheel for an entire lifetime. You have to go through cycles so your soul can grow. Your soul and your ego need to come to an agreement. The ego will never drive you through to 5D. You're not connected. If you're not aligned with your higher self every day, if you do not intend this, if you do not direct it, if you do not focus on your alignment and your relationship with your higher self, you're going to have a tough time moving through this ascension. And you're going to be sat down a lot. You're going to have a lot of tower moments, and you're going to be losing a lot of things. So if your things are important to you, get aligned with your higher self. It's been our same message. There is spiritual protocol. There is spiritual higher order. You shouldn't be calling yourself a spiritual anything if you are not aligning with the universal laws every day that you do what you do and you take money for it. Period. If you are taking money to interfere with other people's lives, you will stay in negative entropy and you will go that way. You will never go into 5D ever. You won't. If you're not aligned with your higher self, you will not go into 5D. Period. Your 5D aligns you, your higher self aligns you with your Merkaba. Your 5D higher self aligns you with your next test, your next initiation. What are you going to be working on next? How are you going to grow next? How are you going to expand next? What's your gifts that you're coming on? Where's your DNA activations? Where's your multidimensional activations? Are you clearing your fields? Do you know your chakras? Are you working with your teams? What masters are you working with today? These are all things you do on your ascension pathwork. Why don't you know this? Do you care? Do you care about your soul's progression? Do you care about who you are as a spirit? Do you care about who you are as a soul? How many aspects of your soul fragments are you going to heal and transmute? 51%. Every human today, doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what their beliefs are, doesn't matter if they're an atheist, doesn't matter if they're a Buddha, doesn't matter if they're a Jew, doesn't matter what your beliefs are. Every human has to work 51% of their karma to move into 5D. Nobody's going to move into 5D if you're not working on your 51% of your karma. And what does that 51% accumulate to? It accumulates to your divine feminine wounding and your divine masculine wounding. Doesn't matter what body you sit in. You have to harmonize both your divine feminine masculine energies within you so that you are a completely harmonized androgynous being and you can move forward with absolute unity of who you are as self. You're returning yourself back to source. You're returning yourself back to source. You're returning yourself back to source. Godliness. That's godliness, dear lighted ones. It's not sitting in a church, reading a Bible, and then going out and sacrificing people. That ain't godliness. I'm going to keep calling you on it because your cults and your covens and your beliefs and your little warped practices is nothing but spiritual killing. That's what it is. You're taking the spiritual light out of people for your self-benefit. That is not righteous on any level. That's thieving. That's harvesting. It's called elite soul harvesting, where you take from those that are vulnerable and don't know how to work and protect their light and their chakras because it's suppressed. These teachings are suppressed on our planet. So what would be the better thing to do? Have light wisdoms become available to all right away, immediately. Cities, leaders, and world leaders. We've been saying this for how long now? So now the world leaders and the church and the state and all the governments and all the government programs, they are seeing the monsters that they've created because now these people in the cults and covens are now really twisted and warped because not only were they kind of not really mentally balanced going into the cults and covens, but now they've had years and years of black magic, years and years of voodoo, years and years of the MK Ultra, years and years of the manipulation and all of these things playing on their psyche and their brain. And they are becoming degraded and demented and dark. And is that a very healthy, happy thing? Or are the governments creating little monsters that get dangerous in communities because they just want to act out because they don't know who they are and now they're sent into an escapism of psychosis? You're all the blind leading the blind, but you all think you know what you're doing. You all think you're ranked. You're not. You're not. You're very wounded people and you're very blindly leading each other off the edge. So go. If that's your choice and you come on my platform every time and you throw your hate and your spit at me, But you're choosing to come on in free will. You're choosing to throw your hate and your spit freely. And then you're continuing to walk around and continue to still walk off the edge with dark people that tell you to do dark things. So then it's just an entity, succubus, incubus. You don't have a spirit or a soul that's connected to your conscience. These are actual things. And if you're so separated from your sense of self, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you exist within and what exists within you, if you don't know there is source creator within you, this will be a tough ride for you. This is why you have to do the daily ascension path work. You have to connect with your higher self daily. Your higher self loves you. Your higher self is connected right up to the 13th dimension, to all universes. That is your higher self. Your higher self, how do you get in touch with your higher self? How many people today talk to their higher self on a daily basis? There's people on the line that don't even know what their higher self is. Their higher self is their highest spiritual aspect that always stays on the other side, that is your godliness. It is connected to God, source creator, all the way up to the 13th dimension in this one universe. Some of us have access to all universes. If you are not aligning with your higher self to get spiritual guidance, to get your spiritual next steps, to get your spiritual health and wellness, to get your spiritual deeds and what's next, to get your spiritual karma, where are you at right now, and what do you need to work on? If you're not connecting with these energies, if you're not connecting with your spiritual teams, you cannot ever call yourself a spiritual person. You cannot call yourself a spiritual person that has spiritual guidance for the community. You can't. You cannot take money from somebody and call yourself a spiritual guide if all you're doing is lying to people. To know thyself as spirit means that you are a multidimensional being, and there are spiritual practices. There are many of them, and you can look, and you're supposed to investigate and explore as much as you can. But the highest order of spiritual movement and spiritual alignment and spiritual becoming is the first order of the day, your higher self. Your higher self is what guides you in every dimension, in every timeline, in every body, in every soul experience, in every second that you have. Your higher self knows all. So why would you ever refer, surrender, and defer, and give your life away, and give your voice away, and give your life away, and give your sacrificing away, and surrender yourself to be initiated into low vibrational cults and covens that are nothing but demonic, satanic work of underground black magic? Why would you do such degrading things to your soul when your higher self links you directly with God every second? Everyone has a higher self. How much of the world knows this? They're stuck in church and state, dogmatic, wrong, misguided information. And this is where you have the little monsters that are created that are absolutely eaten away and eaten inside out with demons and entities, because they've chosen to give their power away and to be lured and to be manipulated and to be black magicked and to be MK Ultra. And they've agreed to give their power and their spirit and their soul away. They agreed to it. That was their choosing. Some of them are used and some of them are manipulated. Yes, those have to be investigated. This is why everybody has to go with their unique story to the authorities, because it cannot be investigated properly and accurately if you're not going. And it also cannot be if you're going to counseling and if you're going to therapy. Your counseling and your therapy aren't going to do anything for a multidimensional aspect that you're choosing to do black magic and you're choosing to do voodoo, you're choosing to do conjuring, but you don't tell your counselors in 3D that you're doing such things. These have direct effects on your psyche. It has direct effects on your brain. It has direct effects on the light that gets to your brain. You're defeating the purpose. It's like taking a cigarette on a jog. Why would you do that? Why would you smoke a cigarette while you're jogging? It's exactly the same thing. So we have to understand everything in reality, everything in creation is about energy, the movement of energy, the movement of quantum energy back and forth. It's an energetic quantum equation. If you are dark, you will receive dark. Those in the dark cults and covens, you're getting exactly what you have put out. You're getting decades of black magic. You're getting decades of rituals. You were told to stop. You were all told to stop doing jar work on me. You were all told to stop doing mirror magic on me. You were all told to stop doing sex orgies on me. There's nobody allowed to jack off and try to manifest off my energy. There's only one person on this planet that is given permission to do that. And that is my soulmate. And he is not of Calgary. And if he abuses that right, and if he chooses to abuse it, then that will be taken away and he will get equal karma as everybody else. Because we are meant to be in honor of one another and allowing our light force and allowing our life force to be used in respect and honor of one another. because there's care and kindness and goodwill towards one another. But there's still conversations that need to be had. There needs to be forgiveness given, and there needs to be blatant conversations of forthrightness brought forward. There still has to be the process of asking for forgiveness and being in display of what you have done and what you've been a part of, and then saying sorry for it. There has to be those actions. Otherwise, then it's moot. It's a moot point. You have to come forward and redeem your soul. If you're a soulmate, you need to redeem your soul. Why did you choose to do harm to someone you didn't know and you didn't choose to look into? You just went by whatever somebody said. Well, what if that person was a pathological liar? Why do you think I chose divorce 8 years ago? Did anybody ask questions? Did anybody ask questions on why so many checks and balances were never, ever looked at by anybody? And yet my divorce was put through King's Court. Did anybody ask that? Why would I show up dead through insurance papers and all the power of attorneys and all the accusations that were done to me if my divorce got put through with no problems whatsoever? And I actually called out the lawyers that made mistakes and missed the perjury that had been done. I'm a genius, dear lighted ones. I know what I'm doing. I know my rights. I know the legal system and how many people are corrupt in it. You stand before me, I'll read your soul. So 50 to 125 people got away with many crimes and many deeds, and you're facing it right now, and you will not move forward. Nothing will be easier in your life until you make it right. Stop using the children for energy. Stop using the children for your little scapegoats and for getting information. You're starting to use them for your black cult and your crime rings, and it's not going to be acceptable, and you'll get karma times 10. The children are not to be used on any level in any way. My God, where's your integrity? Just because you're wounded, you will not place it on the children. I've been saying this for 4 years, and I've been calling it out to the authorities. I've been calling out to the Calgary police. These cults and covens will use children in any way that they can to get out of their karma and to be seen as exactly who they want to be seen as, and they're liars and they're criminal people. They will have children do their deeds. They will have children get information. They will have children ask questions. They will have children slowly and slowly and slowly get involved in their criminal acts. And it's not okay. Because these people are very good at manipulating. They fooled an entire city. Up to 125 people already know. And all the businesses that they're connected with, they have fooled a lot of people. So if they're fooling the best of the best, how is it that these children are supposed to be held responsible for anything that they get involved with that their so-called community leaders are leading them into? This is exactly what is going on. I'm calling it. I have been spoon-feeding everybody right up to Interpol. Every cult and coven needs to be investigated as to who is directing these people to such criminal acts as to suicide, taking them out, death rituals, poison rituals, suicide rituals, car crashes, and all the things that are done as criminal acts every day. Every day there are criminal acts being done. And you will not lure the children. You will be blocked. Head witches and head warlocks and head masons, you're gonna be blocked. You will never put a child's name on a piece of paper and sell it to another cult or coven. Those are RICO crimes, and those are illegal, and you will be blocked. Their soul is unto themselves from here on out. You will never touch their spirit or their soul. Period, point blank. Face your deeds and your wounds. Every cult and coven around this planet. Face your deeds and face your wounds and alter course. There are spiritual laws and there are universal laws. And if you choose not to abide by them, you will not take out the starseeds, you will not sacrifice, and you will not compromise another child. Ever. They will not wear and they will not carry your karma. They simply won't. So get wise. Because your cults and your covens are not the highest order of spiritual practice, my God. They're the lowest. Universal laws are right use of free will and non-interference. You should be using it every day, every hour. If you choose to move forward in ascension and eternal life. If you choose not to, then sit where you sit. It is free will. You might want to move off my channel. If you choose to be a teacher, a healer, if you choose to give spiritual readings, if you choose to give love readings, if you choose to give any type of spiritual interaction, when you engage with somebody in front of you and you're taking their money, you are engaging with their spiritual akash. And there are rules. Your teams are watching you, and you should be asking your teams and getting initiated by your teams only, your higher self and your guides, and the masters. Ask for the angelic masters, ask for Archangel Michael, and work with the guides every day. How can I be tested so that I'm assured I'm giving the highest vibrational information and wisdoms? You should be asking this every day so that you know that you are moralistically have integrity. And as people have found out with me, for decades and decades, they have tried to rip spirit from me. They have tried to rip my connection with God from me. And they can't and they won't, they never will. Because I've been through the practices, I've been through the initiations, and if you're going to a spiritual practitioner, if you're going to a spiritual healer, ask them questions. It's your birthright to ask questions. Do you work with your higher self, yes or no? Absolutely. Every time I bring forward something from the spirit realm, I say, okay, spirit, I'm surrendering to my higher self. What do you need me to say? What are the highest vibrational informations from the highest benevolence for the greater good of the all? Your ego steps aside. It is now spirit. And sometimes spirit has to speak very sternly because there's been a lot of children acting very poorly in the playground. And we're talking about adult children because they're refusing to be healed. They're refusing to take accountability and responsibility for what they have done. And therefore they act like children. And then they dump their karma on the children. Then they take the light from the children. That's not okay, it's criminal. We're gonna call you on it. And your ancestors and everybody that you're connected to is gonna call you on it too, and they're gonna sit you down because you're not gonna be at the top of the wheel anymore. You're not gonna be receiving anymore. You're not gonna be called an elite anymore. These spiritual laws must be absolutely adhered to if you so choose to move forward into 5D. Right use of free will and non-interference in everything that you do. Your business is your business only, period. And when you know your rights and when you know your business and when you know that you're doing the best of your ability in your job, in your role as a leader, a teacher, a healer, an artist, whatever it is that you're doing that you choose to move forward with direction, intention, and focus, who are you? What is thy name? Anybody standing before you, doesn't matter what vibration there is, doesn't matter what denomination there, doesn't matter what they practice. Allow them to be what they will be and don't touch their energy. Don't touch their akash. Don't touch their anything. You don't have a right. If they come to you for a paid session, you have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing of the highest order of divine benevolence for me and all the greater good? You should be asking that yourself every transaction that you do spiritually, vibrationally, or monetarily. Is what I'm doing in the exchange of this experience of my greater good and the greater good of the all? And if it isn't, then perhaps think twice about doing it because you will get a negative return. There is higher spiritual order. Are you practiced? Most of you on the line are not. You don't work with your guides. You don't work with your higher self. You don't call your higher self in. You don't connect with your higher self on a daily, hourly basis. Why not? It is your highest guidance. There's nobody on the planet that will guide you the way your higher self will guide you. Why do you not have a relationship with your higher self? It's always free will, and you can walk out the door and never speak to your higher self for as long as you live, and your higher self will still do its best job to keep you guided in the highest and best path. But again, we'll say this one more time. There are no more 3D timelines for Earth. And if you are an adult, and if you've been involved in spirituality, and if you've been involved in energy work, and you want to know more, and you want to grow more, and you want to be the highest version of you, it's best you start connecting and talking with your higher self every minute of every day and speak out loud because your cells are listening, your body's listening, your fields of light are listening. And your fields of light are going to want to work with you and work with your clair and your gifts, but your fields need to know that you're standing in your truth and there ain't nothing. If you got a hit of what's good, if you got a hit of what you shouldn't be doing, then your body is going to listen, you're going to alter course. I ask myself and I ask my teams, give me a sign or a symbol of what my body feels like when something is going awry and I need to alter course immediately. And my guides will give me a symbol in a physiological form so that I can feel what's going on in my body. And then I can stop, okay, that's what it feels like to go the wrong way. So I ask my teams, give me a sign or a symbol in my body. Let my higher self know, let my innate system know, let all of my bodies know what is the path on the righteousness, me going in the right path, what does that feel like? And my teams will show me. It's goosebumps and it's immediate now. Now it's a quick flash and it's goosebumps right now. That's my path for righteousness. I'm on point. I just hit a nerve there. That's what I need to do because I'm clearing that density. I'm helping you clear the negative energies. That's what I do as a vibrational healer. That's what I do as a Christic healer. That's what I do as a Christic teacher. I teach you about the refinements of energy and spirituality. Take it and do what you want with it. This is truth. And everybody's being shown now. You're not going to keep connecting with people with egregious intentions and malevolence and taking them and harvesting them and stealing from them and doing everything that you can to fuck them over and then think you're going to slide right back into their life and start over from scratch again. You're not. You will not be allowed to continually hurt people. The time is up. The decree has been made. The corrupt people on the planet will no longer be in leadership roles. You are no longer running the planet. We've told you, but you refuse to give up your posts. If you are involved in trafficking, cults and covens where you interfere with people's lives, there is a global, universal decree. And if you choose not to alter course because you are so addicted to your money and you are so built with what is going on in the corruption you have chosen, then you will exactly receive the karma of which you have just stated. You choose every moment. We've been telling everybody for 3 to 4 years, stop the dark magic occult. You don't have a right. Sacrificing is premeditated murder, and it will be chargeable in a court of law under criminal abuse laws. Abuse of power, those that use their power and their title and their role to pay under the table to direct secret communities and secret cults and allure children in, those are all criminal acts, and they will be charged in the court of law. And I will be a part of helping make those laws. So if you're moving forward and you're practicing your clairs and all your gifts, the right use of free will and non-interference, anybody that steps before you, have yourself a mantra that you and your teams work with so that you're aligning your heart, your mind, your body, and your soul to provide the highest level of information for the greater good, so that you can use your gifts and honor your gifts and use it benevolently for the greater good of all. The Divine Father's plan. And sometimes the information that you give will not be comfortable for all to hear because that's just where they're sitting, and that's okay. You must detach from that because you're not here to process their energy for them. You're not here to make sure that their beliefs and their rights and their rules are looked after. That's their job. That's their ascension pathwork with God. As we said it this morning, it's a very purposeful reason why the galactic federations and all of the universal species that are under the divine plan, that choose to work with the divine plan, that choose to work with eternal life, because some beings don't. They choose to work in darkness, and that's fine. There's a reason why many species across the multiverse choose to abide by this number one law, because there's been many planets like Lyra and the Pleiades where they did interfere too soon in a society that was just learning to awaken to source as themselves and themselves as source. And there was very many great detriments that were had in those early interferences. So we as spiritual guides and teachers, and this is why you have to be very discerning on what is in the global energies right now, and all of those coming up through the woodwork that say they're a spiritualist and they're not. They're just taking on names because they're going to get on the bandwagon. And all of these people with their fake AI pages and their doppelgangers, and they don't know the first thing about being spiritual. They're just liars and thieves. They've taken a good idea, they've run with it, and they've shadow banned and they've blocked and they've veiled everybody else. It's called the destiny swapping, elite soul harvesting. They're going to harvest that soul, pretend themselves as the true prophets, and they have no idea they are not linked to spirit on any level. They cannot get up to the higher realms when they're working in low vibrational sacrificing. It's a misnomer. The equations don't work. You have to be trained in light. You have to have your pineals clear. You have to have your chakras clear. You have to be able to get those downloads and interpret it and then discern it and decipher it. Are you? Do you? So again, there must be a set of guidelines that you choose to walk forward with every day for your own state of moral balance and your moral code. What is your moral code? Who are you? Are you just willy-nilly giving information to anybody? Not everybody deserves the higher vibrational wisdoms. They don't deserve it. They don't care. They're coming on just to throw hate. And thus then, those people will be moved. Because they've been told 800 times and they're still coming on to throw hate. They're being investigated. Every IP address is being investigated. I don't deserve to be attacked every single time I speak truth. It is my birthright. Whether there's been 4,000 years of women being suppressed and depressed and taken off the planet, it only will eventuate in extinction. So again, geniuses of the world leaders, secret societies, and cults and covens, if you put it on a piece of paper, you are absolutely choosing extinction. In your practices, put it on and draw it out. Draw the infinity. Draw the negative on one side, a neutral in the middle, and a positive on the other. The actions that you do will drive you to extinction. It can be no other way. So good luck on your journey. You've chosen it, and we've been telling you for a very long time. The decree was said by the Father yesterday. There is no more time or mercy for those that choose to come forward and do right and make right on my behalf. We are moving forward. The timelines will be shifted. There will be no co-creations with anybody from the past between me and anybody from Calgary. I don't want to hear your confessions. I don't want to hear anything from you. It doesn't matter to me anymore. You are forgiven. Go away and leave me alone. Go get healed. All of you need healing. All of you need psyche assessments. All of you are very wounded and all of you are very criminal. Take your stories to the authorities and start to get yourself healed. Be self-reliant. Your lessons are your lessons of what you have gone through. Start to go through your lessons. Nobody's going to hand it to you. Nobody's going to give you a free ticket to 5D. You chose to be involved with corrupt criminal people. You chose to believe lies. You chose to do what you did on any level that you did it. You took money to take me out. You took money to falsify. You took money to lie. You took money to do what you were doing with criminal ass people. So how are you going to make yourself right with you? I don't need anything from anybody but the money you stole from me. And Spirit said most of the money has been spent, so I'm going to have to go through court then, and everybody will be sued. There'll be financial audits on everybody. I deserve what I'm owed. I would deserve to have my legal freedom and my human rights to be met, just like everybody else, while these criminals walk around free, while they're doing RICO crimes, and they're doing false insurance and doing false accusations and handing up the courts in mess and mess and delays and mess and delays and mess and delays. I should have already been living my best life for years now. I should already be living my best life for years and years on go now. I should already be living my best life instead of living homeless, fighting for my voice every day because of these selfish ass people that think they have say over my life. These people don't even know me. They don't know shit about me. These people have never talked with me ever in person, except for my ex. I don't even know these people. They have nothing to do with me. They are not my family. They are not my friends. They will never have a co-creation with me ever. The damage has been immense. I will never get the health back that has been destroyed on my lymphatic system and the stresses on my systems by clearing black magic every day and hate every day. I will never get back the time wasted with my children. I will never get back the time wasted that these people chose to delay my rights and my birthright and my money every day. There were deliberate delays, deliberate justice, deliberate making sure that I would never receive justice. There were scams and plots and plans and false accusations to make sure that I would never receive justice. They were even going to pile on accusations of their crimes to make me look guilty for their crimes. I don't even live in that province. I don't live anywhere near these people. I don't even know them. I live a 98% by myself in hermit mode, fighting for the rights of those that get abused by people that are refusing to get healed. And I'm calling it out every day. Calgary police, do your job. Interpol investigators, investigate every single one of these people, and we need to know who are the beings at the very top that are directing these cults and covens, and why have I not got my birthright information yet? There will be court cases, and YouTube, you're going to be involved in it. Because it's blatant, it's abuse of power on every level. And there are abuses of the very basic liberties that you say and you take oaths on and you've signed legal documents for and legal business papers for. You have all signed papers to say that you would follow the greater good and the laws of your land, the laws of your people, and you don't. You abuse the laws of your land and your people. And it will be proven in the highest courts. Because God hath already won, as we said earlier. God hath won, the gavel hath fallen. So let's proceed in the 3D of this unfolding of this physical experience. Because it's been nothing but abuse. And I'm the voice for all of those people that were trafficked, all the women that were beaten and abused, all the women that were taken out, all the women that were hated on because men did choose not to get their stuff healed. Okay, so now you're going to deal with me. You forced your way into my lane by doing magic on me. I know exactly where to find you. because you forced your way into my lane. You forced your way into my platforms. You forced your way here. You forced your way there. You're forcing and you're doing and you're doing and you're doing by just surrendering your will to somebody that says, go do black magic on them, go follow them and go give them hate and go bully them online. So you said, okay, I'll go do it. So in the meantime, you're giving me your energetic signature. So that means you're giving my permission to my teams to go and find you. My teams know where to find you. My ancestors are sick and tired of playing babysitter to tantrumy little people that refuse to listen to universal laws. And the ancestors have been given credence to follow through with whatever karma that has been told for years and years and years for these people to stop abusing me and others. Therefore, that's then. Let the karma unfold. It is your own choice. These are your choices. So when you get your karma, do not ever, ever speak out to anybody else about it being anybody else's fault. It is nobody's fault but yours. Decades of black magic and jars and voodoo dolls in your closets and under your beds that you refuse to stop taking money for and paying to take people out that you have no right even putting in your mouth. Therefore, thus then, this is truth, dear lighted ones, the degree hath been. There is spiritual order, dear lighted ones. If you're choosing to move forward in 5D, we ask that you follow these 2 simple rules. And if you choose to look into more and follow those, that's up to you and your teams and guides, good for you. The right use of free will and non-interference. That is the number 1 law that is followed by every light being and every cetacean and every being that is consciousness and every being that is in a celestial or alien light ship, every being that is with the Ashtar command, every being that is with global leadership will have to know and follow these rules. And every one of our laws will be made after these rules. Because everybody has the right to know God, to explore God, to express God, to experience God in their own unique ways. And they will not be interfered with. Especially the star seeds that have been brought here karma-free to raise the vibration of the frequency of this planet that is needed because it has been so far in a red flag state because of the imbalances that has been on our planet and the discriminations and the distortions and the separations and the hate that have been so carefully hidden in covert secret society abuses. Systematic abuse is illegal criminal abuse. To withhold somebody's money, to take somebody's money, fraudulently sign for it, fraudulently move it back and forth. I think it's called, what is that? Laundering? RICO crimes where you're putting people's names back and forth in cults and covens where you're not even giving them the benefit of the doubt to stand up for themselves and to have their own name in court. Things going on behind the background and you're not given information and you're not given the details of the whereabouts so that they can stand up for themselves and they can stand in their own voice and they can stand in their own speak and say, I am that I am, and nobody has the right to speak on my name. Nobody has the right to sign. Nobody has the right to say that they know me. Nobody has the right to say anything about me because they don't. The only one that knows me is God and my clients. That's it. I don't walk with a posse. I don't walk with a circle. I don't go out partying. I don't do drugs, and I've been celibate for 15 years. I don't even take aspirin. And who says anybody knows thyself? You don't know you. You're in a mess. It shows that you're in a mess. You're very wounded, and you haven't heeded spirit for the last 6 years, that you have been given a master and genius standing before you every day, that you take information from, that you copy content from, that you lie and you defame, and you glorify yourself so that you look good while everybody else suffers. The people that have not seen me teach and heal in the collective are suffering. The people of the collective are suffering. And the people of the leadership have met their own monsters that they have created in the suppression of the light wisdoms that is needed on a planet now. Are there healing systems made up in the collective right now to come forward with the children being lifted from trafficking? Is there a system for healing? Have the leaders approached this? Is there a system for healing and new systems and new laws for those that have been abused by dark occult practices and dark agendas and human agendas and the billions of secret societies and warped masons and warped witches that are now having to learn new rules of how to be and how to move about and how to navigate in energy as energy, of energy? The leaders are not doing their job. They're suppressing. They're trying to ensure in every way possible that control and dominance will be the way. So you choose your path. Extinction and entropy, which is fear, dominance, and over others, and control, and hate. That's what you have chosen, so then sit in your karma. You can't cry about your karma when that's what you've chosen. You chose to take money to take somebody out. What do you expect? The second rule that we say, it is always the best rule that will make sure that the first one stays in place, and that is the law of balance. If you are imbalanced in any way, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, or sexually, then it will show in your body. Your body will show you the imbalances because your body is a mechanism of light and love. If you're not treating it as light and love, if you're not connecting everything that you are as godliness, if you're not connecting with your chakras, if you're not connecting with your fields, then your body will show its imbalances because there's something inside of you that's not balanced. You haven't brought in your divine feminine energies or your divine masculine energies. Are you putting things out and you're working through your triggers? You're working through the things that come up every day. Are you paying attention to what's being reflected to you and what you're observing? Everything that you observe is showing you where your vibration is at. And then you can call in and say, wow, I observed that yesterday. Cool. Now I can let go of this wound. Now I can integrate that. Now I can act on that. Now I can ask my teams if they're going to work with me in this respect. Have the greatest level of humility to work with your guides because they're doing the very best they can. Most often than not, they're not heeded and they're not heard. Your guides have your highest and best intentions. They will never lead you into doomsday or damage on anybody else's soul. They would never, ever do that. Your teams would never, ever guide you to hurt others, ever. So in any way, in any part of your day where you are being told and directed to hurt somebody, to send them black magic, to make them forget their memory, to make them go into suppression, to make them to go into whatever anybody is suggesting that you do, and if you actually do it, then you have committed yourself to that negative karma unfolding, whatever that shall be. And that is decided by your soul and God based on what you have chosen to learn, what you have chosen to be sat down with, and what your next step is on your ascension path. That is only decided by your soul and God. Nobody else decides your karma. That's why nobody should be touching anybody's path. It's not your right. You don't play God. There is a God, and God will sit you down. Because you don't know, you haven't known, and it's been absolutely egregious. And there has to be some rules and guidelines when you're working with your gifts and your skills and your talents. Because you're not going to be lifted any higher, and your gifts and your skills and your talents will not be turned on if you're not following a set of guidelines that is right for you and your guides. I would suggest that you not take money if you are choosing to interfere with people's lives. I wouldn't take money to ruin somebody else's life and interfere in somebody else's life when you absolutely know it's not okay. You're choosing to move yourself into negative entropy. Therefore, then you cannot complain because it will come back to you. All that you do is coming back to you. Every black magic deed, every love spell, every whatever. Nobody should be putting love spells on anybody. There's something we've had to learn, and something we've had to get used to, but it's a very immature experience. If you have to put love spells on somebody for them to pay attention to you, that sends a very big red flag. Anybody that does love spells, you better sit down and you better think and maybe go to a higher consciousness level. Why and what and how would you ever do love spells, and why would you ever think that that's a business? You're using a makeshift, false, fake, manipulative tool of using and abusing energy for forcing into somebody else's lane and somebody else's path to make somebody think about them that they're not meant to think about. Leave them alone. Get out of their energy. This is why we've said from day one, if you truly are excited at some point to have a soulmate, the highest and the best thing that you should be doing is working on you. Work on you. Work on the insecurities where you have to think you have to pay somebody for a love spell. So somebody that's not meant to be with you, that was never meant to be with you because you've abused them so many times, because you're not working on your wounds and they're healed their wounds, you're not a vibrational match. Why would you ever waste your money and your time and go across spiritual boundaries, across spiritual laws? And why would you ever interfere in somebody else's life by doing sex magic and orgy magic and love spells on them when they've told you 800 times, I don't want to be around you. You're not healed. There is no vibrational match. There's no vibrational match at all. You don't care about energy. You don't care about life. And all you do is lie and manipulate. I said, I don't want my energy touched or fucked with. Get out of my energy. It's been said 800 times, to 1,000 times, to 1,000,000 times. Is anybody listening? You deserve your karma. Sit where you sit. Sit where you sit. Why would I want to be with people that abuse energy? Why would I want to be with people that manipulate others so that they can get their attention and their energy? You have no idea who you are. Why don't you get your own energy? Why don't you get right with God and with your higher self? And why don't you get healed with your own self-love? Because you don't need to get money and to pay it and to bid it and to bet it and to sell it and to do spell magic and sex work on people. just so that you can get your way while everybody else around you suffers. Again, narcissistic sociopaths, get healed. Because you're hurting so many people and you know it. You know that you're hurting people and you're not doing anything about it but being more narcissistic. You're not accountable. You're not coming forward with your accountability and you're not healing. Therefore, you will never ever be with somebody that has already done the work and healed and shut the door and told you timelines are cut. There's no vibrational match. There will never be a vibrational timeline with anybody from the past. The deeds were too damaging. You have no idea how a person feels to be damaged every day by selfish, arrogant, ignorant acts of greed and selfishness and hate. We will never co-create, ever. You have to go away and you have to look at the damages that you have done. And you have to make right on it with your soul. Sit with your soul and begin your forgiveness path. Cry and purge and cry and purge and make it right with your soul. None of you have any right to do love spells on anyone. None of you have any right to do sex orgies and conjuring on a person that is not you. If you want to get into a polyamorous relationship where you do sex magic on each other, then you discuss it and you agree upon it and you say, and you absolutely know the outcome and you know the dangers. You know the dangers of what conjuring sex magic is doing to two people involved, let alone the dangers of doing when you're involving other people because you want more energy, because you're so depleted, because you're so sick, because your entities are eating you inside and out. There is so much misguidance, there's so much misinformation, and there's a lot of dangers that have been created in these misunderstandings and these people that are just not healed, that are just wanting to get, rape, and take. And it's being shown. It's going to be shown everywhere, and the humanity must see it. And humanity must come away and think, maybe perhaps is there a better way? Maybe is there light wisdoms that we can learn? Maybe there's something about what she was saying about sex magic being dangerous if you don't know what you're doing and you're doing it just from a selfish intention. Because other people don't want to be a part of your orgies. When we've said no, it means no. I'm a seer, I'm a feeler, I'm a psychic, I'm a healer. I know what I'm doing and I can feel it all and it's disgusting. I said no for a reason. Because my life is sacred, my energy is sacred, and you're not going to use my energy for anything for your gain while I sit homeless. And then you think you're going to come by and be friends and pals. No, you're not. Your 50th sacrifice on me was enough. Shut the door, bye. And you ain't going to come around just pocket watch me, you're going to be blocked. You ain't going to come around and say, somehow send the kids in to see what they can find out. You're going to be blocked. If you want a session, you can pay for a session. Okay? I have PayPal. You can go to PayPal and you can pay for a session. My PayPal is in the description box of every one of my videos. These are collective teachings because the collectives need to be taught right now on the highest order of benevolent, how to use your energies, how to use your gifts and your skills and your talents, and go away and talk with your teams every night and talk with your teams every morning. Your teams have your highest outcome. Your teams will always have your highest order. Your teams will always look after you. Your teams will always heal you. Your teams will always guide you in the highest path with Source Creator God in your highest benevolence. So why everybody just connect with their spirit guides, connect with your higher self. You shouldn't be connecting with anybody that is lower than your higher self, unless it is an earthly person that is connected with your higher self in sessions like this, where I can give information and I can give forward information on the higher selves coming forward and saying what I'm saying. Sometimes the questions that you think you're asking are going to be answered in my speech anyways, because I'm connected with your higher selves. You have to sit back and listen. But it's your ego that wants something. It's not your spirit that wants something. Therefore, you're not going to get the lesson anyways. Your ego is saying, I want me, I want me. Can you listen to me, listen to me, listen to me? That's ego. Because your spirit is not balanced. You're not balanced. You don't know who you are. You're not connected within yourself. This is what we teach. Go get connected within yourself. Sit in silence. Breathe. Breathe with intention. Breathe with a pure heart. Do you know where your heart is? If you do not feel things going on in your heart chakra, you need to start working with your heart chakra. Because it doesn't matter how many masters stand before you and give you the answers. If your heart chakra and your chakras are not aligned, and if you're not working with your higher self, it doesn't matter what answers you are given, you're not getting the lesson. And that's why people are being moved. Because you want the fast track, you want the answers. As we said earlier, not all will take and accept your information. The swine cannot digest the highest vibrational information that's given from a master or an angel. Swine should be given the food that swine can eat. They only care for the quick, fast answer because they don't want to evolve. They don't care to go within. They don't care to do the work. They don't care to give themselves time with their higher self. They don't care to sit with Source Creator and purge their woundings. They don't care to face the woundings. They just want a fast answer. They want to cheat and get the win as fast as they can because they want what they want. And that is all the people I was dealing with from Calgary. As many soul lessons and as much as I have given, all of them are coming back in the exact same energy. They want the fast pill. They want to get on fast. They want to do the pocket watching to see what's coming next. All they care about is the taking and the manipulating and to be seen as somebody they're not. And you will be sat down again and again and again and again until you are seen for who you are. You're very wounded. You need to sit and down. You need to get good with yourself, and you need to all have psyche assessments. You need to all get assessed. Because many of you have mental imbalances. Many of you have mental degradations. Many of you have mental dementia. And it doesn't matter how much wisdom I give you, it will never be enough because you're a sociopathic narcissist. You're not healed on any level. You're not doing the work. All you want is a fast answer. I'm not your healer. I'm the healer for those that have already done the work, that are moving into 5D. If you're not willing to look at your shadow, if you will not be accountable, I will never be your healer, ever. It will never be somebody you can follow, so you can absolutely unsubscribe. I give you full permission, unsubscribe from my platform right now. If you are not willing to look at your shadow, you have to unsubscribe from my platform. Because you're just on it for whoever you belong with that's paying you to forcefully come on and want your fast pill for the fast end game. I don't do end games fast. I don't do cheat pills. I don't do pills that get you there fast. I don't agree with people that are doing magic and taking money for magic when they have no idea who they are. They have no idea about their higher self and they're not aligning with universal laws. I will never agree with that. That's, to me, that is a moral and integrous thing that I would never recommend. Therefore, that's then, who are you getting your information from? Be discerning. It's still a part of the collective. It's still a part of what we must look at. But we're in the position we are in, and we're in the position of seeing things go down, and we're seeing the position of karma hitting people very badly because there hasn't been such guidelines. There hasn't been any proclamation of higher light wisdoms at all. And this is the outcome. And so leaders, you are the leaders of the country and the people. What are you doing about it? You're still suppressing me. My platforms are still at 0. What are you doing about the fixing and the healing of your people? Or are you just going to keep sending them black magic and masons to screw their lives over so that you keep getting money? And then what? What's your money going to do you when you're still faced with the same demons and the same woundings and you're not healing? Then what? Still extinction. You're just going to be extinct with a lot of money. Okay, then what? You can't buy your way into heaven, people. You cannot buy your way into ascension. You cannot buy your way into clearing your 51% of karma. You can't and you won't. It means nothing. So who are you now? We're going to keep asking the same questions. And those that get bored and those that don't care have already found their way off my platform. So thank you. So now we're going to get down to the law of balance. The law of balance will show you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually what part of you is balanced, what part of you is not. That's why doing the daily path work is important. If you're honoring the right use of free will and non-interference, then you're going to get more and more balanced every day. So again, the first 2 laws are really all that you should be paying attention to. And if 3/4 of your way through your day, you're finding yourself not balanced, then just take a couple of full body breaths like we've shown you, clear your fields, anchor your feet into Gaia. Remember your sacred Trinity blueprint, that's all you need. Ground into Gaia, call in your ancestors and your healing teams, and then connect with your higher self through deep, long, focused breath. And then intend your connection with your higher self. Ground the higher self breath into the earth. Ground your higher self breath into your body. Ground your higher self breath into your heart chakra and ask your questions. What is it that I may know, see, hear, or sense that is in my highest and my best information for me today? For my highest growth, for the growth of the collective that I may express, for the wisdoms and the creativity that I may express today. I am open for my guidance of my highest guides, my higher self, and my teams of light, Mother, Father, God. And then you sit and you listen and you receive. That is the divine feminine energy. You're practicing your divine feminine energy when you're receiving. So feel and just tune in softly to how does your body feel when it's grounded? Do you feel the pillar of light grounded into Gaia? Do you feel your feet grounded into the sands and the soils? Do you feel your body become more balanced and peaceful? Can you visualize light white bathing your body and healing your body? And your heart chakra feels open and you can feel it spinning. You can feel all the love in your body just moving around and just having its dance and love and light. Giving yourself loving affirmations out loud because your skin is listening and your body is listening. I choose to be benevolent in all of my gifts and my skills. I choose to promise myself to align with my higher self on any information I give forward to anybody that stands before me for healings, for teachings, for guidance. Your spiritual service is never self-service, only in your expression of your highest excitement. You're not providing information to others for your self-service. You're providing information for the greater good because you have a gift of being orator, you have a gift of being a speaker or a teacher of some kind, and God has used you as the vessel of that. And so take that with great honor and know that any act of giving any negativity to another in any way whatsoever, those are things that you will take on your negative karma side because you don't have a right to interfere with other people's lives in any way. Everybody from the past is absolutely forgiven. There's no owing of any kind but the monies that were stolen. Everyone is forgiven. I simply want to be left alone so I can do my highest and my best path. So please, everybody from Calgary, please, 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 I pray of you, go get healed. And then so just sweep up, give yourself a sweeping motion, use the energy of the Reiki field, watch Mother, Father, God, and Source Creator bathe you with the holy white light. And as you sweep up, you're clearing any densities from your lower chakras. Your body should be going goosebumply right now if you're connected with spirit. Your spirit is showing you that there's love and light bathing your field. You're clearing away the densities. You're clearing away any negative energies. You're clearing away any parasites. You're clearing away any projections. You're clearing away anything that is dark and negative in your field by intention. And say with intentional breath, I release all darkness and density that may be in my field that I know or I don't know. I please release it to Source Creator now, please. I release all darkness and density to Source Creator now, please. And sweep up and sweep up and sweep up and sweep out. I release all darkness and density to Source Creator now, please, to have transmuted into the highest light. I release all darkness, all negativities, all projections, all curses, all hexes. I release all entities, all attachments that are connected to me that I know or I don't know. I'm asking it to please release itself from me so I may feel balanced. I have my right to feel balanced. You need to say these things out loud so your fields in your body and your cells are getting used to you commanding your body for negative energy to leave. It is important that you use your spiritual voice. You can do it in the shower, you can do it however you like, but your body and your cells need to hear you. And you will feel it when you sit down every day. Your body will get faster and faster at communicating with you. Your body will go into goosebumps before you take your first breath. Your body is godly. Start treating it that way, my loves. And feel yourself grounded with Gaia. Gaia is sending you healing energy. We're going to leave you with this one question that you can walk away and maybe for the rest of the day and for the rest of the weekend, you can look at this, your psychic abilities, your gifts, your clairs, your clairsentience, clairaudience, clairtangents, all of the clairs, you can look them up. I think there's about 7 or 8 and there's far more than you can. But tune into how your body is feeling when you're working with your clairs. You're always sending information, you're always receiving information, and you're going to allow your higher self to align you with the highest answer of a problem that you're working on. Because there's nobody that knows your highest level of direction than your higher self. So you're going to say, okay, higher self, I need an answer. I need an answer for this problem. I need an answer for whatever is going to be my highest and best direction that I can take action on immediately. Because usually if you're in the middle of a tower, your teams are being left at the last minute resort. And there was a lot of things you should have done and could have done before the tower hits. So being if you're in a tower moment right now and things are chaotic and things are falling, then your teams are going to give you your highest and your best, and your teams will probably say, you need to sit down and you need to start loving yourself and you need to start giving yourself direction. Who are you? And start releasing the people in your life that allowed you to bring those towers in a lot faster because you chose to give your power away to those people that didn't really care. But you chose not to care about yourself, and that's why you attracted those people equally not to care. So now you're all in a bunch of towers. Your higher self will always direct you, and what will your higher self always say? Your higher self will always say exactly as we have said it. 100% truth. You need to start speaking truth every second of every moment of every day, and your chakras will begin to clear the density that is in there, that have been placed there in curses, that have been placed there in hexes. Some of you have had magic done on you when you were children, and you don't even know it. And then you just live a life that's very dark, very depressing, because you're doing your best to be the best person you can, but you came with a bunch of curses and hexes because you knew that you were strong enough to clear them for your lineage. So you're a very strong person, and we've shown you on our channel every day how to release these curses and hexes, and just do what I'm doing. Sit in a straight chair with pure intention to live a better life. No matter what you're given, you're going to get up. And you're going to show people that are the role models and those that are younger than you, and you're going to show them to be a new role model because you care about who you are, because you know that right now, how your body is reacting, you're godly. And you're going to speak your truth in every moment that you can, no matter how it may seem offensive or it might hurt somebody else that is not ready for your truth, but that's okay. Your truth is right now. So let them hear your truth, because your truth is going to activate them to be in their truth. And that's why triggering is so important. It's necessary. And the more you stand in your truth, the more you're always going to want to stand in your truth. You're never going to want to deviate from your truth, because your truth stands in your spirit stands in you. There is no other way. Say it out loud. I speak my truth and my truth speaks with me. I stand in my spirit stands in me. There is no other way. I am of spirit. I am spirit. I am is and of spirit. And whatever affirmations that you need to stand purely in alignment of your spirit, say it, speak it, know it. It's greater than a belief, it is your knowing. Who are you? It should be as pure as your name is. My name is. My name is, my name is, my name is. I am aligned with spirit. And speak it and know it and be it. And have your cells change. Your cells will show you, your body and your skin will show you that you have just activated a beautiful, profound part of your spirit. And you've released a lot of density because your spirit body was waiting for you. Your body was waiting for you. Your family was waiting for you. Your ancestors were waiting for you. God, Mother, Father, God were waiting for you. But we've never been taught and told that we're godly. We've never been taught and told and shown how to behave godly. We've never been taught and shown and told how to clean and cleanse our fields and how to have higher order and how to have higher protocol and a few simple guidelines that can keep you on the straight and narrow. It's okay to have those moments of darkness. You have to understand dark magic to actually transcend it. So now that you've all had your time practicing a little dark magic and hurting a lot of people, how about you get on with healing yourselves and getting yourselves healed? God is giving you a last opportunity. You still have to face your judgment. You still have to do what is rightfully right by the powers that be and by your souls and by your guides. And from here on out, speak truth. Never ever surrender to anybody else before you. They don't know you. They don't know your soul's blueprint. You do. And your higher self does. Your higher self would never ever tell you to hurt or harm or interfere with any, or bring any other person off balance. If you are harvesting from children, you're bringing those children off balance, and it is a crime. If you are doing energy work on children, you have no right to, you don't have permission to, and you are hurting their souls, and it is a crime. I see it and I feel it, and it is a crime, and I'm speaking for those children. You are depleting and you are putting their immune systems in jeopardy for any demon and any entity to attach to them, and it is a crime. None of you have a right. There is such low vibrational wisdoms and informations that's not wisdom, it's not information, it's just abuse. We have to come into higher order light wisdoms so that everybody has the opportunity through free will to learn how to clean and protect and clarify their fields so that they can walk around as a divine sovereign being, because they are sovereign to their souls and their spirits, and nobody speaks or acts for them or of them or in them. That is being sovereign. And the world needs to be taught, because church and state ain't doing it. And church and state needs to be accountable, and they need to get on the bandwagon and start creating bridges of higher vibrational information, higher vibrational laws, and allowing the church and state to see for their people, to be a great role model, for their people to be shown that we can change too. And we're going to be great role models from here on out. We've made some mistakes, but this is what we can do together. That's what leaders should be doing today. How can we build bridges? How can we do this together? And how can we bring accountability to all facets of our social systems that are corrupt? How can we make better laws? How can we put better people in order? And have compassion and move forward in it. Compassion for all people, dear lighted ones. And if somebody says, stop, get out of my lane, it means stop, get out of my lane. Go get healed. Never, ever cross the boundaries when somebody has said stop 100,000 times. You need to go get healed. You need to heal your codependence. Because that other person is never the answer. You showing yourself that you are the answer and creating from wherever you are at. If you are broken, have nothing, create from where you are at. Source is always with you. That's why my life story was so important. I proved and I've shown to everybody and to myself most of all. I don't need anybody standing next to me. I'm not codependent on any level. I'm hyper independent. I'd rather do things by myself than ever ask anybody for help. There's been people that have stolen a lot of money and ruined a big part of my devotion. My devotional path was to service and to source. And it was defamed and made to look really ugly and pornographic. And that's nothing of who I am. I'm a sweet soul that will give everything until I have nothing left to give. And even when I don't have anything to give, the people still find ways to steal and take from me. And I've been really patient. But I'm moving into a new direction. Everybody is forgiven. If you want to make right, everybody knows the legal information that they have been given to give the money back to my lawyer in my name, Joanna L. Ross. And until I get my birth records, then I will go through a full name change. Because then the lies and the defamations and everything that was done under Joanna L. Ross, it has nothing to do with me. That's not my vibration anymore. There's been so many lies and defamations and harm done to that name. I'm retiring it. And I have a new 5D name, and it's Celeste. And it is protected by the highest beings of the multiverse. That's why I am the Ark of the Covenant. And there will be direct ramifications for anybody that thinks it's a fun thing to do, to keep attacking me and to keep stealing from me and pocket watching me. You don't care about me. You never did. All you care about is what I can do for you. Therefore, we're not friends. I'm tired of giving to you. I'm exhausted, and I barely made it. We're not friends. But have a good life. I wish you well. I will always wish those well. But you will no longer abuse me. You will no longer take from me. And you will absolutely no longer file defamations and false accusations that make me look like somebody I am not. And God will show you in a minute that it is the most egregious act that you can do on somebody so precious and so sweet that moves wormies off to the grass. And I do it every day. I move wormies off to the grass. If I see them struggling on the cement or in dirt, I will move them off to the grass, and I do this every day. That's how sweet of a soul I am, and I stand proudly in it. Because if that's what I do for wormies, what will I do for the children? And what will I do for the divine feminine and the elders and the indigenous and the cetaceans and the air and the trees? I care, dear lighted ones. I always have. But it doesn't mean that you can abuse me. It doesn't mean that you can steal, take, and rape from me because you think it's fun to be all domination over people. Heal your wounds. You have a lot of wounds you need to heal if that is your way of life. Follow the beautiful, easy, universal laws. Have that and seek it every day as your protocol and your guide to your higher self. Your higher self will never, ever, ever guide you into harm. Your higher self is your best friend. Speak to it every minute. Get connected with your teams and ask Mother, Father, God to come in and give you the healings that you are due. You're due healings every day because you want to love yourself enough to say, today I'm going to heal myself. And every night, call your healing teams in to get healed. Every night, call in Archangel Michael and protect your body and to start clearing your fields of all the demons and all the entities. And then start praying for forgiveness on every child and every person that you have hurt that has been vulnerable, that you have manipulated. Because manipulation is not a spiritual practice. You're defaming that person, you're defaming that soul, and it will be done to you tenfold. You absolutely know it's coming back to you. You will be manipulated. That's why you will go around in karmic situations until you learn those lessons. You have to learn the lessons, people. You will never come out of where you're at if you don't learn the lessons of why you gave your power away to who and why. Clear the entities. Make sure you're putting it in your journals. What lessons are you learning? How are you learning your lessons? Are you loving yourself? Are you forgiving yourself? Are you forgiving others? Are you doing and making right where you can? That's how easy and simple this is, but you actually have to do the work. There is no fast pill. There is no race. There is never a competition. Please, 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 I beg of you and I pray for you. I pray for you to get healed. There are some of you from Calgary that need to get assessments in your mental arena. You need to have MRIs and scans done. Some of you do have early dementia. Some of you do have degradation in the brain. You need to have assessments. And you need to move away from those people that work and deal with dark practices. If you so choose to be a healthy person and have extended life or not, I'm giving you the informations. And it's not going to be very good if there's black magic done when you're already at an imbalanced state, which we've said in our videos for the past 6 years. If you're already at an imbalanced state, the black magic is going to be ever more imbalanced and harmful. The black magic absolutely puts your brain in a degrading state because you're forcing itself into darkness. You're not allowing light to get in and heal the energies that are wanting to be healed. So anybody that has been a cult or a coven or a Masonic practice, dark practices and dark conjuring and voodoos, I would suggest that everybody get assessments and find out where you're at in your mental balance. I suggest it for everybody as you're beginning your healing path. Everybody to sit in every day and get used to where are you in your mental state? Are you mentally balanced? And if you're not being honest with yourself and you cannot be truthful, then you will never ever get healed. You're never going to find your way to a balanced state if you're not being honest with yourself. You know if your mental state is healed or not and if you're in a balanced state. Feeling chaotic and having your energy chaotic all over the place, that's not balance. If you're hurting other people, that's not balance. So you need to be honest with yourself and get the mental, emotional, spiritual, and your physical bodies checked on a regular basis, especially if you're coming out of cults and covens that have been mind control and black magic and voodoo involved. And again, as I said these for 6 years, you're responsible for your multidimensionality and the health of it. So please don't do black magic. It's dangerous for your bodies and your health. And so, dear lighted ones, I love you. Anybody who wants a session, my PayPal is there. Anybody that wants donations, my energy is there. So please write out your 2 laws, the laws of universal right, use of free will, non-interference, and the law of balance. And then ask your teams every day to come in and help you and be with you. That's what they're there for. They love you, they love you, they love you. The creation loves you. Creation loves you, creation loves you. Start loving yourself and see what happens. And see that reflected experience back at you. We love you, dear lighted ones. We're going to sign off. Bye.